Assuming that everything Richard Allen's lawyers say is true, is it enough? And for that, I turn to Lee Wallace, a trial lawyer with 30 years of experience in trials, who's known to her thousands of YouTube fans as Lawyer Lee. Okay, Lawyer Lee, your hot take on this. It's a motion to correct errors as opposed to a motion to dismiss. Is it just semantics, or is there some significance to that?
Well, typically a motion to correct errors isn't exactly where you would expect to see these arguments. It's typically sort of used to, when there's brand new evidence, it's suddenly found. In this case, this is not brand new evidence. They've made their best argument that it's new, that it's different, that it's come about with facts that came out at trial that they could not have known in advance. But it doesn't exactly fit what you would normally see in a motion to correct error.
So what's the most egregious of the 4-point bulletins, so to speak? Is it the confession? Is it the van timeline? Is it the pretrial custody? Like, what are you seeing as the most problematic, say, for the prosecution?
I think two of them are really important. They all matter. It's not that these aren't very, very important. It's just a question of, are they going to get relief right here in this particular motion, or is it just something that tells us what might happen down the line? And the two that really, really matter are Brad Weber and the white van, because the change in the timeline really makes a big difference. The prosecution said that Libby's phone last moved, forever stopped moving at 2:32. It was underneath a shoe, underneath Abby's body. And so that marks the time at which the girls were in the final location where they were going to be killed. If there was no white van to be seen by Richard Allen, it really messes up the prosecution timeline. And then when it comes to Ron Logan's confession, the confession, the reason that it's mentioned in this motion is because for the first time at trial, one of the expert witnesses called it said instead of two different weapons, which had long been relied on by the defense to say, hey, there was more than one person who actually committed this murder. This was a group effort. But the expert said, no, I'm convinced it's only one, and it was box cutters. And I can tell from the marks on one of the girls that it was the rubber handle of box cutters, and that those box cutters then were actually mentioned by Ron Logan in his confession. And the defense is saying we couldn't have put those together because we were surprised when Dr. Kaur, the expert, mentioned this at trial.
I will be fascinated to see how this plays out.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.